All right, guys, welcome back. Now, are expensive parts worth it? I don't know. It's a lot of subjectivity, a lot of whatever you want to talk about in a lot of things, but let's dig in. Please go check out Brownells. I got a new mat, the tech mat. I thought that was pretty cool. I have had my old mat here for a while now, and I love this mat. It's cool to just tinker and pound on stuff with. It's pretty awesome. But go check out Brownells. They'll be in the link tree down below. I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. Also, go check out my Utreon. My Utreon is a pretty awesome little place where I'm trying to gather up a bunch of content for you guys, and hopefully soon start doing some giveaways for you guys, because you guys will really love some of the stuff I have to give away. All right, so there's a couple things I wanted to talk about. One, like high value and things like that. That drives me nuts in the gun community because value is subjective. To me, this $89 Geisley low or $80 Geisley low receiver that was a blem, is a good deal. What I would consider a good deal for a lower receiver. There are $100 lower receivers out there from KE Arms, and this is a great lower receiver, by the way. It's been in spec. It's, I checked everything. It does have one wobbly pin, but it's not excessively wobbly, and it's not breaking or doing anything. So I also think that pin kind of sucks. Battle Arms development. There are some things that you can take away from building a high quality rifle. There are two things I really wanted to discuss kind of in the gun community. People who die to support companies specifically because those companies either A, supported them, or B, they really like what's coming out of that company, and they're really willing to just kind of say all their other bad stuff isn't what it is. Now, when it comes to KE Arms, I love KE Arms. KE Arms has sent out some stuff to the channel that other people in the other gun community stuff wouldn't send out to the channel. But KE Arms has sent stuff out to the channel, and they're really good. But I'm not going to die on a hill because of anything that KE Arms does. I love the KP-15 low receiver. I realize there are a lot of people out there that don't love that low receiver. To me, I think that receiver has a lot of quality for a lot of people, especially who don't want to spend a boatload of money on small parts for their AR-15. They can spend a cheaper amount of parts on their AR-15, focus more on the driving factor of the gun, which being the upper receiver, saving a ton of money, having a high quality, term I can hate, having a decent quality gun out of the box that runs really well, that's pretty light, and it just works. But then you have people out there who are like, oh, I only have forged lowers. That's cool. You can check out companies like KE Arms. You can check out companies like Geisley that have decent quality stuff that goes on sale. This was, I think usually Brownells sells these throughout the year, but I've only seen it once this past year, and I'm pretty sure it's a one time per year type deal when Geisley sells off their blem stuff, and Brownells gets a lot of it in. So if you ever go and look, the Geisley low receiver and the Geisley receiver sets, they're actually in right now, and they're not the blem version. They're like $140, whereas you can get one of these. I got this in 40 millimeter green. You can get one of these blem low receivers. I want to say it's towards like the end of the year. You can get one of these for like $80, $70 if you just want black. So you can get a Geisley low receiver for $70. That doesn't cost you a lot of money. This is a Count Blemula. I love these Count Blemula lowers. I think they're fantastic, especially because they are kind of cheap. And I say that meaning they're cheaper than their normal alternative, but also like they give you a fair amount of value for what you're getting. Yeah, you're going to get some scuffed up stuff there, but that, to be honest, to me, that doesn't care. Like that doesn't track for me because I'm going to break the shit out of this thing anyway. At some point, this thing will get dropped. It will have a huge gash in it or something. Something like that will happen. A lot of other things I wanted to talk about too were like ammo selection. A lot of people will crap on people for shooting steel case ammo. I shoot a ton of steel case ammo, a absolute ton of steel case ammo. And when steel case ammo is no longer available because we're at war with Russia, which I don't even care about, that's going to be hilarious. But we're at war and we're not allowed to have steel case ammo from a country that makes steel case ammo. Sure, I totally get it. You're going to be upset that I'm running steel case ammo. I don't care. I'm allowed to shoot more because I can buy more steel case ammo, and then I can repair my guns because I don't necessarily care that I shot out my barrel in 5,000 rounds. That doesn't bother me. I get to shoot more ammo. I get to put more rounds down range because, yeah, I can buy some steel case ammo. I have brass. Like, I go out and I do accuracy testing with stuff. Like, it's not like I'm out here saying no to brass case ammo, but I get to shoot more steel. So that's another thing I think a lot of people in the industry don't necessarily understand or are tracking, because you can get a lot of quality out of more trigger time, even with crappier ammo, than you can out of a lot of really high quality ammo that you can't necessarily, run all the time, because you don't want to run out of ammo. You need to have some sort of a stockpile and do all sorts of stuff like that. So my thing is, buy a high quality rifle, buy a high quality pistol. I don't recommend shotguns. Those are dumb. Just ignore those. Don't even buy one. Shotguns belong in museums. I agree with Sage Dynamics. So buy yourself a high quality firearm. It doesn't have to be expensive. It does not have to be expensive. Aero Precision makes fantastic stuff. I hate their rails. I think they're the most hideous looking things on the planet, but they make really good stuff. If Aero Precision puts out a product, 9 times out of 10, that product works. That product works really well. They're even coming out with a bolt gun here pretty soon, so I would be taking a look at that also. I like Aero Precision stuff. You don't necessarily have to go out and buy Geisley and Geisley trigger and all these different parts. Along the things with like Modlite. I think Modlite is a okay company. I think their social media people were a little weird at one point, and they were kicking a lot of people out of their social media groups. But hey, take a look at a company that made their name kind of on bougie lights. They do kind of. I will say this, in my opinion only. This is not fact, and I cannot substantiate this. But in my opinion, I do think that Modlite has a tendency to look down upon the people that can't say, hey, look, I can't really necessarily afford your lights. Now, well, look at how Modlite came about. Modlite came about because they had just a light head. Like, they had a light head that you could put on your Surefire dual fuel that gave you more candela and more, output than your Surefire. So, I would look at stuff like that. Does that equate to quality in your book? Now, you can go to the complete opposite end of that spectrum and just talk about Olight. Which I'm not going to do. I made a video a long time ago about why I wouldn't review Olight. I don't necessarily love Chinese companies. I think Holosun is making a name for itself. I think Holosun is actually doing really well, but I still look down on it because it is a Chinese optics company. Optics are kind of more of a necessity than flashlights, but I'm a huge flashlight nerd, so I like to talk about flashlights. There are some people out there who will say that you're not a flashlight nerd if you're only into mod lights and cloud defensive and Malkoff, but I think that those people are wrong. I don't like the niche point of the flashlight community. Let's put it that way. I like duty grade weapon lights. Another term that I don't like is duty grade. I think that's kind of a ridiculous term. High quality parts, are they worth it? I think it's subjective, but I think also at the same time, if you're just spending money to spend money, I don't think it's worth it. And I don't think it's worth it even if you have the money to throw around. Like, if you're like, oh, I only buy Geisley everything because it's what it is. I don't know if I can ever get behind that statement. I buy some things that are Geisley. I have a Geisley receiver set that's coming here pretty soon, only because I wanted to see if it was worth it. And Brownell said they would send it out to the channel. I have a B&T GHM-9, partially because I don't like PCCs, but also that gun looks like an 80s submachine gun that I really like, so why not have that? There are some things that will be coming to the channel pretty soon, but the issues that I see with people, or that people have, is they're upset at how much things cost, or they're upset that I won't review a lower cost option, or they're upset because I said something bad about this company or that company. Everything on this channel is my opinion, so there we go. Don't go running around here acting like I'm the end-all be-all of everything. I highly suggest, if you want to buy a more expensive part because you know it will help you out in the end, yes. But the only reason why I bought this Geisley little receiver was because it's 40mm green, and I wanted 40mm green. The only reason why I got the OD green Geisley receiver set is because it's OD green, and I want to try out the Geisley receiver set to see if it's actually worth it for how much money that it costs, because that's a $275 receiver set. That's not cheap. And that's not cheap for a lot of people. Plus, then you got to go spend more money on other things. Like, no, you can build guns cheaply. That's not that hard. Like I have a cheap build that just showed up on the channel a couple days ago. You'll see it. And I literally went through exactly what this was, and that was a pretty cheap build. It didn't cost a ton of money, and I love shooting that gun. But I also love shooting this gun. It's expensive, and I like it. And I put really cheap ammo through it, which tends to piss off the internet. So there you go, guys. I hope that kind of answers your question on are expensive parts worth it? Not always. But sometimes I think if you can justify the cost and how much it kind of comes around and makes something worth buying, sure. I think worthiness has a big deal to do with it too. I'll give you a quick example. I don't think that the Forward Control Designs OD Green trigger guard is actually worth it. Like, I don't. It's a $25, did I say trigger guard? I'm sorry, castle net. It is a $25 castle net that I don't think is needed. There's a titanium one that I have. I have a V7's titanium castle net. That was a $22 castle net. I think that's more worth it than this. That at least saves weight. It's titanium. It's never going to rust. This is just a Cerakoted part. So again, it all comes down to, is it worth it to you? Does it add the value that you're looking to add? That added the value for this lower that I was looking to add because it's OD green and it matched. But did it actually add a ton of value for me? Not really. It didn't. It didn't. So again, you can buy things and they can be expensive, and that's okay as long as you can justify why you bought the expensive thing. But also don't run around saying that your Anderson is just as good when it can't be repeated on a big scale like other companies can make. Geisley can pump out a lot of lower receivers that meet that standard of what a lower receiver needs to be because they take the time to QC their products. Anderson doesn't do that. They just pump out more and go, oh, we'll make it up on the back end. Geisley's like, oh no, let's make it up now. So yeah, that's something that you should definitely be aware of and look at when you're looking at different things. So again, this is not sponsored by Geisley. I have said not great things about Bill Geisley in the past. I think his G just makes everything more expensive than it actually needs to be. So don't take this as me saying that something that Geisley made is fantastic. I still think his lower is not worth the amount of money he's charging for it, but that's just me. I like it because it's green. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed the conversation. If you go check out Brownells down below, also just leave your comment. Let me know what you think. Maybe I was talking in circles. I have no idea, but let me know what you think down below. I would love to have that conversation with you guys. As always, have a good one.